Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is on the Armed Services Committee. He served 33 years in the Air Force Reserve, and Air National Guard. He is with us from Clemson, South Carolina. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
You heard what your good friend Senator McCain said, that great leaders do not threaten unless they're prepared to act. Do you believe the United States is prepared to act?
Oh, absolutely. There are two scenarios where we would go to war with North Korea. If they attack Guam or some other American interest or our allies, or if they try to keep developing a ICBM with a nuclear weapon on top to hit the homeland, we would act. President Trump has basically drawn a red line, saying that he'll never allow North Korea to have an ICBM missile that can hit America with a nuclear weapon on top. He's not going to let that happen. He's not going to contain the threat. He's going to stop the threat.
Well, when you say that, or when President Trump says that, there is at issue the question of how many people might die from a retaliation on South Korea.
Yeah, General Mattis described it very well. It'd be a horrific war, unfortunately. We're headed that way unless North Korea stops. Put yourself in President Trump's shoes for a moment. Where does your allegiance lie? Isn't your primary purpose as President of the United States to protect the American homeland from a nuclear weapon attack by a guy like Kim Jong-un? My belief is that we're headed that way unless the world can stop North Korea. He's going to pick homeland defense over regional stability, and he has to. For 30 years, this has failed. This is not a language problem. This is a North Korean regime trying to get the capability to strike America, the ultimate insurance policy for regime survivability, and no president should allow this to happen. We failed for 30 years. It's time to try something new.
Senator, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson just landed in Guam, and he was speaking to reporters there. He said, our telephone lines remain open. He says this is not an escalation. He said President Trump was simply trying to speak in language that Kim Jong-un would understand in terms of that rhetoric. Does it seem to you like there's diplomatic progress?
Well, we had sanctions passed by the UN that were very tough. Nikki Haley did a great job. Secretary Tillerson is telling North Korea there will not be a war to change a regime. There will not be a war to reunify the Korean Peninsula.
Something
We're not trying to invade North Korea.
Does contradict what the CIA director, Mike Pompeo, said when he was out at Aspen, where he said regime change actually is a U.S. goal.
Well, I don't think it's the goal of the American president to change the regime. It's the goal of the American president to stop North Korea from having an ICBM that can hit America with a nuclear weapon on top. He would go to war to prevent that. That's where war will be likely to occur if they continue to threaten the homeland. I hope diplomacy will work. Sanctions haven't worked before. Maybe they'll work now. But China should have more than... We got two bad options. That is to let them get a missile to hit America or go to war to stop them. China should have two bad options. Deal with a nut job in your backyard or realize that there'll be a war in your backyard.
Do you think this was a message to China as well as to North Korea?
Yes. Yes, and the time for talking is running out. I want to know what South Korea and Japan think about the miniaturizing of a weapon. I don't want to trust one intel report. We've learned from Iraq you need to be cautious. But I do believe Donald Trump will not allow Kim Jong-un to get a missile to hit America with a nuclear weapon on top. And it's a matter of time till that capability exists. So I hope we can do this diplomacy and sanctions. A war would be terrible. But if there's going to be a war, it's going to be in the region, not here in America.
Well, as you know, there are already intelligence reports that say the militarization is not the issue. The issue now is to protect the reentry and the guidance system. That's the final barrier they have to pass.
I don't know the exact nature of their missile program, and I don't think we have very good eyes and ears on how far along they are, but we know they're trying, and it's a matter of time. I'd like to hear from South Korea and Japan, their intel services, but it's just a matter of time until they get this capability. When Putin says that you know, he didn't interfere in our election, he's lying. When the Ayatollah says he's not trying to build a nuclear bomb, he's lying. When Assad says he didn't use chemical weapons, he's lying. This man, Kim Jong-un, is not lying. He's saying that he's going to build an ICBM with a nuclear weapon on top to hit America, and I don't want to live for the next 50 years under that threat. And he'll have a hydrogen bomb one day with a bunch of missiles if we don't stop him now. Everything before did not work. I don't want him to get stronger over time.
Senator Graham, thank you very much.